guys, and welcome to Match Week 22 predictions. Last week, Match Week 21, we all got 4 points. I think I was the only one who didn't get a perfect score, but I got, 4 correct results. So, not a terrible week. It does mean there is no change to the scores in terms of positions. Jackson leads the way still on 18 points. I'm on 15. Julain sitting behind on 13, but still plenty of time to go before it gets to the end of the season. So it's time for the first game in this match week. It is a bottom of the table clash between Sheffield United and West Brom. A win takes Sheffield United within 1 point of lifting themselves off the bottom of the table. I said in our podcast this week that I think that they might survive if everything goes that way. And that's why I've gone with a Sheffield United 2-1 victory over Sam Allardyce's West Brom. I just think with the momentum they got from their win at Old Trafford and only losing 1-0 to Manchester City, it probably puts them into a good frame of mind. They've been playing better football. They've been looking a little bit more solid. West Brom, however, I don't think have the capabilities to shut down Sheffield United if they show up. So I'm going Sheffield United 2, West Brom 1.
So, match week 22 beginning almost straight after match week 21, going straight in from the weekend to the weekday games. Really excited for this one. The league table starting to shape up really, really nicely, starting to get a really good sort of feel for where the teams are, where they're going to finish towards the end of the year, and what their aims are going to be. So, getting into the predictions, we're going to start off with Sheffield United and West Brom. The side sitting 19th and 20th in the table, obviously both well into a relegation battle, both looking very like they're probably going to end up getting relegated. So, but I suppose both have sort of potential to pull off the great escape. There's a lot of poor sides this year. There's a lot of opportunity to sort of push up the table with a few things go your way. This one's a 6-pointer. It's massive, and I'm going to actually pick Sheffield United 2-1, as their form's been really, really excellent, in my opinion, as of recently. Look, a 1-0 loss to City isn't the worst result in the world. Beating United at Old Trafford's absolutely sensational. Before that, obviously, it's been really, really poor, but I think they can turn this one into a win. I don't really rate West Brom all that much this season, obviously. And I think this is one where Sheffield United are actually going to get the points. 2-1 to Sheffield United.
Sheffield v West Brom. So I know West Brom are coming off a loss to City, but I still have been impressed by them. I mean, they beat Man United at Old Trafford. So West Brom, on the other hand, have not impressed me at all. To be honest with you, I don't even know how they went. I'm just going to assume they lost at this point. But yeah, I'm going for a Sheffield 1-0, I think. Sheffield in better form, and West Brom just won't be able to get it done.
Wolves-Arsenal, big game. Wolves, of course, sitting pretty poorly in the table. I think they're only 1 point ahead of Newcastle as things stand. Arsenal, however, their fate seems to have changed. They're picking up results. They got a goalless draw against Manchester United. But I see them bouncing back and getting a win against Wolves. I think they have too much quality. They have better young players. They have better normal players anyway. And just overall, they look like a sharper side at the moment. I do see Arsenal winning it and winning it quite comfortably. But I do see Wolves scoring. So I am going to go Wolves 1, Arsenal 3.
Following that one, we've got Wolves and Arsenal. So this is a really, really interesting game. One of those ones where maybe last season you'd probably be favouring Wolves with where they've been sort of finishing in the last couple of seasons, but they have really, really dropped off. The absence of Raul Jimenez has just absolutely destroyed that side. They don't look the same as they used to. And Arsenal really, really coming into some nice form. They look really exciting. A 0-0 draw against United at the Emirates isn't the best result, but it's also not the worst result, especially with how poorly Wolves are playing. I'm going to have to go with Arsenal 2-0 in this one.
We've got my club, Wolverhampton, v Arsenal. As much as I would love to say a Wolves win, it's not going to happen. I mean, I was expecting a win against Crystal Palace. I was very disappointed to see that we lost that game. So I'm going to say Arsenal 2, Wolves 0. Arsenal much better form, much better team, and Wolves are in the bin at the moment. I really hope we don't get relegated. So
Moving on to Manchester United and Southampton. A couple of weeks ago, this would have been a much bigger game for Southampton. They've seen their form dip a little bit. They're sitting a little bit lower in the table than they were a few weeks ago, but that is the Premier League this season. Changes every week. Manchester United, lose to Sheffield, draw against Arsenal, and suddenly they've almost conceded that top spot permanently for Manchester City. I don't see anyone disrupting Man City. It is their title to lose now. That being said, I do see Manchester United bouncing back, winning against a very well-coached Southampton side. Manchester United 3, Southampton 1.
Next up is Manchester United versus Southampton. United are a couple of tough games in the Premier League as of recently, and Southampton continue their good form. It's going to be an interesting game. You'd think that United would bounce back following a couple of disappointing results, but I really do think Southampton have the ability to at least take something from this game, if not everything. I'm going to stick with 1-1 for this one. I think it's a very interesting game. It's going to be one of those ones where you're not really sure what's going to happen. Earlier in the season, obviously, it ended up, I believe, 3-2 to United after Southampton went up 2-0. So if Southampton can maybe do the same sort of thing but hold on to that lead, I think they can definitely get something from this game. I'm going to go 1-1.
Man United v Southampton. Look, Man United, although they're right up there, they just don't impress me yet whatsoever. A draw with Arsenal, obviously losing to Sheffield. Southampton have lost the last couple of games, I believe. So they'll be looking to bounce back. I've got this at 1-1. I know some of the other guys may say a Man United win, with Southampton are in great form, but I'm saying United are going to continue to struggle and they're going to go 1-1 with Southampton.
Moving on to Newcastle United. They host Crystal Palace in this one. Newcastle got a very good win against Everton. Very good win. They looked much more solid. They looked much more compact. They were just playing better football. They looked in control. But I don't see that happening this time. I think Crystal Palace are going to get a win. It's going to be a very tough game. Very tough. And it might see some late drama in this one. But Newcastle United 1, Crystal Palace 2.
The fourth game of the match week, Newcastle and Palace. Again, another really, really evenly matched game, and one of those ones that's really, really difficult to pick. Newcastle, really, really good. Look, I completely wrote them off. I had them almost as a big relegation candidate this season. They've been absolutely awful coming into that Everton game last week, but they were really, really impressive. They set up magnificently. Everton didn't do enough going forward, didn't press them, didn't create the chances. Newcastle took advantage of that and they won the game 2-0. Palace, on the other hand, have been up and down. Would you say they're in a relegation battle? No. Are they really pushing for the top 10? No. It's going to be a difficult one for me to pick, but I'm actually going to say Palace 3-1. It's one of those ones where I think they're going to put one late. The scoreline won't reflect how competitive Newcastle were, but 3-1 to Palace.
All right, Newcastle and Crystal Palace. So here's an interesting game because Newcastle, I would not have put a prediction of them to win anywhere in the last month or so. But then they've gone and won 2-0 thanks to Callum Wilson. Who did they beat? I can't even remember who they beat. Oh, Everton. They beat Everton. Wow, yeah, huge win. Crystal Palace coming off a win as well against my boys. Real sad. But I'm saying Newcastle are going to continue some form. Callum Wilson's going to continue his form. Steve Bruce is going to continue. It's going to be 2-1 Newcastle, I'm saying. That may come back to bite me, but it is what it is.
Top of the table next, and it is Man City away at Burnley. Burnley defended pretty well against Chelsea, despite not even moving their way up the top of the pitch. I did say that they were just going to sit back and defend in that one, which they did. They didn't really make any effort to go forward at all. I think their only shot came in the 94th minute, so pretty poor from them. However, it's Man City. The way that they play, they will be open from time to time. There might be a couple of chances to get through. Will Burnley do it? Probably not. Will they make it hard for Man City? Yes, I think they will. It's either going to be a blowout and, Man City win 5-6, 7-0, or Burnley keep it close and keep it respectable. I do think it will be the latter. I think Man City might score early on, try and put on the pressure, not much come from it, and then score later on. and just end the game and sort of drown it out towards the end of the match. I do see it finishing Manchester City 2, Burnley 0.
Burnley and my team, Manchester City. So, Man City look like the clear favourites now. If we win our game in hand, we go 7 points clear. All looks rosy. It's hard for me to see us losing this one. Burnley were just awful against Chelsea over the weekend. Truly. I believe they had one shot, maybe. Didn't look like scoring. We're lucky not to get pumped about 5-0. I'd be absolutely distraught if we were to drop points in this game. Manchester City 4-1. The clean sheet run is finally over in the Premier League.
Burnley and Man City. Look, Burnley have been in great form until they just lost to Chelsea. I have a bit of a complex when it comes to predicting Burnley games because they always do the exact opposite of what I say. So I'm going to bet against them again. I'm going to say 2-0 Man City, but I literally would not be surprised if Burnley win because they just hate me for some reason. So, 2-0 Man City.
Fulham-Leicester. A couple seasons ago, this would be a relegation battle. For one of these teams, it is. For the other, it's a chance to bounce back and try and persuade everyone that they are contenders for the title, not just pretenders. Leicester, listen, they weren't that great against Leeds, especially in the second half. But they do play fantastic football. We've seen that from time to time this year. Fulham, on the other hand, not so great. And I don't see their luck changing in this one. I do see it being quite convincing victory, although we've seen Fulham defend quite well against the top sides this year. I do see Leicester opening them up a bit, going for a run, fixing their goal-scoring problems, and it will be Fulham 0, Leicester 3.
Next up is Fulham and Leicester. So this is another really, really interesting game. Leicester really, really disappointing in that game to Leeds. Look, they took an early lead, always looking well, looking to continue their title charge, and then bang, all of a sudden, they concede 3. Patrick Bamford looks like just about the best striker in the world, and they drop all the points in that one. Look, Fulham haven't been good this year. We all know that, but I think they're going to be competitive in this one. I think this is going to be a really, really entertaining, high-scoring game. Leicester without Vardy, it's difficult, but I'm going to go Leicester 4-2 in this one. Leicester 4-2.
Fulham and Leicester. Pretty straightforward here. Not sure what the score will be. I'm saying 4-0 to Leicester.
Leeds United now, and like I said, they got a very good win away at Leicester. They're playing Everton in this one, another team right up there in the top 5 or 6. It's not going to be a win for Leeds this time, I'm afraid. Everton need to bounce back. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be looking for a result. They're not going to get a result either. It is going to end Leeds 2, Everton 2. I just think both teams will be hungry for a win. Leeds, with some momentum. Everton with some hunger. It's going to cancel each other out, and it will be a draw.
Next up is Leeds and Everton. I actually think, despite their positioning in the league table, I think this is as evenly matched game of any in the match week, honestly. These two sides are pretty much, if I was to pick one who I think is going to pick up the most points, I guess, for the rest of the season, I couldn't split these two. I think Everton were unbelievably disappointing. They were awful. And look, Leeds have had a poor run of form, but look, they've seemed to recover relatively nicely against Leicester in a really, really impressive performance. But because of the evenness, I think I'm going to go 1-1 in this game.
Leeds and Everton. Both sides hitting a bit of stint in terms of form, especially Everton losing to Newcastle. You need to do better if you're Everton, that top of the table. But I've got a 1-1 draw here. Both sides will just be happy to share the points. But yeah, Everton's not in great form, so that's why I've gone for a draw there.
Aston Villa versus West Ham. Again, two sides that underperformed in the last couple of seasons. Aston Villa lucky to stay up full stop last season. And West Ham, team that I know Jackson had in his relegation battle, I didn't have them that low. I thought they would have an okay season. They're having a fantastic season. Yes, they were blown apart by Liverpool. That's nothing too bad. They've had some shock results that have gone their way. They've had some really good football played. And Aston Villa have as well. But I do see Aston Villa having more in this one. And maybe it will be the start of a West Ham fall from maybe we'll get Europe to, let's settle for mid-table. I do see Aston Villa winning this one. And Aston Villa are going to win it 3-1.
Next up, Aston Villa and West Ham. Two claret and blue sides. Two sides having very, very impressive seasons. West Ham dropping points to Liverpool, a 3-1 loss, Look, it's not a great result. It's not something you want to be proud of or anything, but it's also not completely unexpected. Look, Liverpool are a world-class side, one of the best in the world. Mo Salah, he's unbelievable. Aston Villa, are being very heavily carried by Jack Grealish. That's sort of to be expected, but he creates so much. It's almost enough for Villa to pick up wins here and there. Both sides probably still going for Europe. Top 7 spots, both on the cards for both sides here, definitely. This is a really, really important game. And despite how well West Ham have been playing, I'm going to go Villa 2-1 in this one. I think it's another really, really interesting game, one to keep your eye on. Villa 2-1.
Aston Villa and West Ham, similar situation to Everton and Leeds. Both sides are quite even, I think. I think they're around the same sort of area in the table. Both in pretty decent form, I'd say. I think West Ham might have lost 3-1 to Liverpool. But I'm going to say a 2-2. If not, it'll be an Aston Villa win, but I'm saying 2-2.
Second last game, and it is the champions against Brighton. The same Brighton that has just beaten Jose Mourinho's Liverpool, but they are not going to have any luck at Anfield. This is the biggest score difference I've had this match week, and it is going to be a Liverpool blowout game. There's not much that I need to say. Liverpool looking back to their best. They've had some good results now. And Brighton, even though they scrapped that 1-0, well, I wouldn't say scrapped, they probably deserved it, hey. But it's not going to be the same. It is going to be a big win. It's going to be an emphatic win, and it's going to be a real show from Liverpool that they are not out of this title race. It is not just Man City's, and they're not just going to concede it. It is going to be huge. It's going to be Liverpool 5, Brighton 1.
Second to last game here, we got Liverpool and Brighton. Despite the impressiveness of Brighton's performance against Tottenham, where Tottenham were just awful. We'll get to that in a second. But I'm going to write Brighton off here completely. I'm going to say Liverpool 4-0. They were just that impressive against West Ham for me. I think Liverpool are going to really, really have a title run. I think this is going to be... It's going to be not a quite as good quality as 18-19 between City and Liverpool, but a really, really close, good quality title run in the back end of the season. And I think this is going to be an important game for Liverpool, just to stamp their mark, just let everyone know that they're still here. They're still a title favourite. 4-0 Liverpool.
Liverpool and Brighton. Oh, so Brighton just got a huge win against Spurs. Like, how does that happen? How? That being said, is Liverpool. So I'm going Liverpool 2-1, but Brighton may score. So yeah, Liverpool 2, Brighton 1.
Now moving on to the biggest game of the week. That's not just my bias, that is absolutely certain. Tottenham versus Chelsea. We won this game 2-0 last season. In the first game, we played against them at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we were much the better side. We have had the better form as of late. Tottenham Hotspur have only got 2 wins in their last 9 games. I don't see that changing. I see them going 2 wins in 10, but I do see them picking up something from this game. It's just these type of games, the derbies, they always show up. They do, or 9 times out of 10 they show up, and especially Jose Mourinho, he'll want to get one over. Tuchel start another managerial feud. But Chelsea aren't going to roll over. They're not going to make it easy. Spurs are probably going to defend for their lives, but Chelsea will still get one. I see Spurs nicking one despite Harry Kane not being fit for this one. And I see it ending in a draw. In my opinion, the biggest London derby there is. I know the North London derby is historically bigger, but even Spurs fans and players have come out in recent years and said Chelsea is the one they look forward to. Chelsea is the one they want to beat more, because it's a much, much more important game than Arsenal versus Spurs or Arsenal versus Chelsea. This game can decide titles. This game can decide which London team is going to finish highest in the table. I think it's going to be Chelsea this season. I think we're going to get top 4. And I think well, if we definitely, in my opinion, are going to get top 4, we need to win this one. I don't think we're going to win this one, but I still think there is that chance we will get that top 4. I just don't see Spurs doing enough. And it will end Spurs 1, Chelsea 1.
And to finish off the match week, London Derby, a game that I think is going to have a lot of eyes on it, and a game that I think is going to finish 0-0 like a lot of other highly anticipated games this season, and that's Tottenham and Chelsea. Now, it's probably unfair for me not to pick Chelsea in this one without Harry Kane. I think Jose Mourinho is going to sit back, and I think he's just going to soak up Chelsea chance after Chelsea chance, and he's just going to pray, and I think he's going to get lucky, and I think this one ends up 0-0. I also don't think that Chelsea are going to do enough in this game, don't think they're going to create enough chances, and that's why I think it's going to end up 0-0. Those are my match week predictions. Hope you enjoyed.
And last but not least, Spurs and Chelsea. Spurs have been in really bad form, not impressed at all. They lost to Liverpool at home. They just lost to Brighton. And I think Chelsea, coming off a big win under Thomas Tuchel in his first real match, I'd say, or his second match. I'm going for a Chelsea 1-0 to beat Spurs. Spurs are just utterly disappointing at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna go 1-0 to Chelsea.
Well, that brings us to the end of match week 22. Please let us know in the comments down below what you think your predictions might be. Some big games, some very big games. Personally, for me, doesn't get any bigger than Spurs away. This is one of the biggest games of the season. I really hope Chelsea can do something beautiful. I would not mind being wrong about my prediction if it meant that we get a win over Tottenham. It's the one I want most in the calendar year. But that is all from me, that is all from Jackson, that is all from Julain this week. We will be out with a podcast soon. We will be out with more predictions as the weeks go on. So please subscribe, please like, please comment, please share, do whatever you have to, and don't miss a thing. Stay safe.